Guys, welcome back. I'm Sabrina and I'm here with Vince and Dom. Vince, this is obviously the first collaboration between GCU and GCU clubs.
I'm excited. I can't tell you. This is big. This is big for our show. It's big for the community. It's big for our view. I mean, rugby of all things, and it has a huge following. You look around here, there are so many people. It's going to be a great day and a great spring.
Yeah, and so Dom, you are the beat reporter for GCU club sports and everything. What does the future of this look like in this collaboration between GCU club sports and varsity sports?
So I'm super excited to be able to cover GCU club sports this semester, and what we have coming up on the horizon is more rugby coverage and as well getting a chance to do more lacrosse as well.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and we'll be back right after this, guys. Welcome back, guys, to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Sabrina Giles here with GCU rugby head coach, Coach O'Leary. Coach, this is the first game that you guys are going to obviously have against UCLA. What was the message to your guys' team going into this game?
Oh, at this stage, it's just come out, know your job, and do your job. They're a young team. It's no point in getting them too fired up. They'll be overly emotional. So it's just come out and do your job. It's going to be a great game. A fabulous day here at GCU, and tremendously looking forward to it. And I want to thank you guys also.
Yeah, and Coach, obviously, lots of game plans going into this game. What are going to be the main keys to winning this game?
Like anything, you hear it in football all the time. You got to win in a scrimmage. So scrums are going to be huge, and lineouts, unfortunately, and they are very, very tall. So we're going to have our hands full.
Coach, thank you so much. Guys, we'll be right back after this.
So they clear it about to the all the way up to their own 10-meter line. GCU had a really nice attack. They pushed it down to about maybe down to the 5-meter line or close to it, but just a little bit sloppy with the ball and a turnover, and UCLA cleared.
For those of you that missed a couple of minutes in here, we apologize. We had some issues with software on our connection, but we are back. We're live. It's Vince DeLisio, joined by Ryan Kelly and Dom Hernandez, bringing you the Rugby Match of the Week live from Grand Canyon University, hosting UCLA.
It's great to be here, out on a beautiful day.
Very excited to get to cover a rugby match today.
Little line-out action for GCU, beautifully done. They've had actually some excellent line-outs, being a little bit shorter in the size category here. And we get a penalty for GCU. Little offsides around the back there.
Now, periodically, Ryan, throughout, I know this is a very fast-paced game. We don't really get stoppage in play here, but we would like to go down to the official to get some commentary. So you give us the heads up when you think it's safe to go down, and we'll throw them on.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's great to see him mic'd up. And,
yes.
You know, we're seeing a lot of that in international rugby now, and getting a little flavor for, you know, what the referees are doing and saying. It's great.
So we'll go ahead and do that when from the main official when we can get some commentary there.
It's funny, the rugby referees tend to say a lot less than probably any other referees.
Okay.
Nobody talks to them, and it just except for the captains of each team, and you don't see any of the lip that you see, you know, in soccer,
sure.
Or, you know, and so it's kind of an interesting dynamic as far as the ethos of the game. Oh, missed opportunity there for GCU as they just can't quite get the throw in.
And UCLA looking on the pass and the kick downfield.
Just found touch at the end of that. GCU definitely on the attack here. We're playing the vast majority of the half here, first half so far, in UCLA territory. And GCU has made a few forays down in deep into territory, but no points to show for it so far. Haven't seen much attack out of UCLA. It's been pretty much clearance kicks on almost everything. Another line out for GCU. Beautiful.
Inbound. That's Emerson. Upfield finds Pulu to Gray. Jackson Gray.
So he found himself tackled there, but not held, and he just popped right back up and kept running. Nicely done. Nice three-man pod there for GCU, and they just looks like they're spinning wide here. Yep. Oh.
And once again on the lateral, finding Tavares. Tavares upfield.
Oh, that was a pretty nice play. Tavares gave a little backhand flip, but the GCU lock just barely caught it and intercepted, and so pretty lucky.
And Jack Pargetter for UCLA.
And once again, we get another clearance kick. Still a great attacking position for GCU. They've got a line out here about right around the 22-meter line, and so they should have another attack. Unfortunately, the wide attack for GCU has been a little bit slow, and so I think that's been a challenge for them. They might need to get a little bit more phasing in midfield to create some more space there. So long throw, but it worked. Not the way they draw it up. Boy, that UCLA really, really coming up hard. I think that's what we were talking about maybe before the match, you know, getting a little chip through, because it's going to be really tough when they're coming up that hard. Here's a nice, I just kicked it a little bit early there. So we had a little spin to the wing, and then the wing chipped it forward, but it was just a little bit too early on the chip. Didn't quite pull the last fullback up far enough, the fullback up. Quick tap. So we got a little penalty for GCU here.
Let's go down and, if we can, real quickly,
see what you get.
See if we can get something from the official. Okay. All right. Apparently not.
You might not get much from them.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of times they're not saying much down there. So So GCU, a penalty for GCU there, so they put that into touch, and now we're playing at about the maybe 10-meter line, or the almost about 10 meters out from the try zone for GCU.
Okay.
Beautiful attacking position, line out for GCU. I think they've won all but one line out today so far, so that's pretty. They're probably running about 80%, which is a great percentage. Oh, just a little bit of overthrow. The lift went a little bit early. Bad timing in the throw, so this is a turnover to UCLA there. And here we come, UCLA running just a little bit of phasing here.
Nice job nearly losing that ball.
Get a little bit of space over here. I'll just take him right into touch and kind of thrown out like a rag doll there on the try
Let's go
line,
to the
touch
official.
line.
We're awaiting a decision here.
So we had a little injury. Looks like one of the UCLA players, I can't see his number in the far corner up there, came off.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got a replacement came on. Can't quite see the number for everybody, but looks like maybe an ankle. Not too serious, but.
Okay.
We got a penalty in favor of GCU here. Ethan Van Tonner
Clear
finding a little bit
lane.
of space. Finding a little bit of space. He's down to the 5-meter line. Nice little run by GCU there. And here, there's an attack. That should be a try. Yes, indeed it is.
Got it.
He's got it.
Scoring first is Grand Canyon.
Couldn't see who dotted that down. This big pile up down there. Hard to see. That
Was this? Was it Tavares?
It could have been Tavares. It looked like either Tavares or maybe the loose head prop for GCU, the one for us. Jesse Emerson.
Emerson?
Yeah, one of the two maybe. I couldn't quite tell.
Okay, let's head down to the sideline with Samantha, who's with Coach O'Leary. Take it away. Sabrina. Take it away, Sabrina. All right, great job, Sabrina, getting some commentary there from Coach O'Leary as GCU leads UCLA 7-0.
Ethan Van Tonner slotted the kick after there. So here's the kickoff. Nice. Once again, GCU not cleanly catching the kickoff, which is not good. And we've got a scrum in favor of UCLA here. So that's the second time. In the opening kickoff, virtually the same thing. They just didn't handle it cleanly. That's something they definitely have to work on.
So, Ryan, UCLA with the scrum, okay, with the opportunity for the try here. They're obviously very close in field position. What is the strategy?
Yeah, so, here this is just a great attacking position. You got basically a 22-meter scrum. You've got a lot of green space here. GCU has proven to be pretty tight on defense here, so we'll see what happens. Oh, see that? The scrum has just really been bad for UCLA, and once again they turn it over in the scrum, so they don't even get a chance to attack here.
All right. And Grand Canyon comes up with it. Van Tonder kicks it upfield.
It's a nice kick by Van Tonner, and even better fielding by, I couldn't see maybe the fullback for UCLA.
Oh. Still in play.
Oh, that very unfortunate call there by the referee. He called a knock on, but sure looked like it went back there. But GCU just picked right up and took off like they were headed down the field. But unfortunately, he called the knock on. So we'll get a scrum once again. The UCLA scrum has really betrayed them here. They literally have not had a clean ball out of this, I don't think, once today. Almost virtually every one has been a turnover. So we'll see what happens here. Put in to UCLA here on the GCU 10-meter line. Kind of ugly right there. My guess is we won't see too many of those allowed. If that goes down again, he'll penalize somebody.
In terms of a yellow card, or?
No, probably just give a penalty here.
Okay.
He'll give a few warnings before any kind of yellow card. I actually think that was not intentional. Sometimes they're intentional, but that one didn't look to be. Just kind of lost their footing. So we'll play it all over again. UCLA throw-in. See if GCU can put them back on their heels. Yeah, once again they do. A little bit more stability, and UCLA got the ball out that time. So nice attacking position.
Nice job on the lateral to Van Tile.
So still didn't quite make turnover again. So that is a beautiful kick by looks like maybe Tricky, and he might take this. Oh, he does.
Got in for a try.
Beautiful play. Tricky picked up his own kick there. So you had a quick turnover by UCLA in the mess of kind of a messy ruck. Tricky grabbed it, punted it over, grabbed his own kick, and took it in. So beautiful play by Tucker.
15:30 remaining in the first half. And GCU leading 12-0.
So he dotted down only, maybe a couple meters off the touch line there. So this is going to be a tough kick. But I've seen Ethan all last year. He had some great kicks from these hard angles. Be interesting to see what he does here. He played a little bit internationally over the off season too. I saw that he was playing with I think the under-20s for the USA.
Okay.
Which has been great. That's great experience. You know, when you're pushing players up into that category from your program, you know you're doing something right. Of course, GCU's probably most famous player, Maceo Brown, currently playing for the U.S. national team in the 7th Circuit. He's actually in New Zealand right now playing there. The U.S. national team, sevens team, is playing in the World Series of Sevens today. And in fact, I think they're playing about right now. They're playing against Australia, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. See if Maceo gets a few reps in that game.
So 2 rugby matches I know of going on in the world. This one and the one
There's a lot of rugby going on today.
I know.
This is the kind of the opening weekend for a lot of college rugby teams too.
All right, here we go in UCLA.
So you see, here's the kickoff, and GCU fields that one cleanly.
That was Siegel.
Yeah. So this time UCLA hits the receiver of the catch. The catcher before he actually caught it, and so we get a penalty to GCU here. Be a little careful with those. Those are the ones that you can get some serious. You get yellow cards for those types of things.
All right.
There's Ethan with that kind of low trajectory quick kick. That one did not find touch, which is unfortunate, and it's booted right back down the field. And that one does find touch. So not a good exchange for GCU on that. I mean, on those penalties, you really have to find touch. And they had a little bit of that last year, too. A lot of pressure on people like Ethan Van Tonner when you're running the show at number 10. Everybody's relying on you on so many different facets of the game. It's almost the quarterback of rugby.
Well, and what was interesting is that Coach had stated, because you'll get lineup changes periodically minutes before a match, and he said, yep, numbers 1 through 15, that's our lineup. And
I think that's Tavares there. I couldn't see who picked it up, but really nice physical run. Very nice. There's Tucker with a quick pickup. He holds a few guys off, and
here's the big man here.
Ooh, nice low throw. The ref called that backwards on the drop. So GCU gets the advantage of the,
Letou just lays a shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, the GCU, I think it was Polu actually came down just came down, and it was a little bit unfortunate. He had a head down for the tackle, and at the same time, the UCLA player leaned down and he hit him in the head.
Griffiths really slow to get up.
Took that head-to-head contact, which you don't like to see in rugby.
Let's see if we can get a conversation from the official there. He's a little within range. Okay.
Yeah, just to catch everybody up, the USA Sevens women's team just picked up a great win against Fiji, 27-7. Fiji, of course, a major powerhouse.
Where was that match being played?
That's all being played in Hamilton, New Zealand. That's the New Zealand Sevens. So really, really big tournament going on down there for Sevens rugby. So both the men, last time I checked, both the men's and the women's both undefeated from USA, which is great. We'll see if we can get that score for the men's Australia match and see if we can. Actually, I think that men's match starts at 3:30-ish Arizona time, so still may have a few minutes before that gets kicked off.
All right.
Nice lineup by UCLA. A little bit of a midfield attack here. Oh, just slipped through.
But Holcomb making his way to halfway line.
Interesting call here, not releasing at the tackle against GCU. So we'll get literally a penalty right at the midfield line, halfway, and they kicked a touch.
Now the strategy here, Ryan, kicking to touch to obtain possession back closer to the try.
It really is. When you have a penalty that's in your favor and you kick direct to touch, you get the line, so you get the field position and you get the line out, which, you see most of the teams kicking to touch in that scenario. Although we've seen a little bit of quick tap going on in international rugby, harkening back to 20 years ago, starting to come back into vogue now.
Great job on the inbound by UCLA.
UCLA really trying to attack the midfield, so they're trying to take a phase attack right at the midfield in the centers and then recycle the ball very quickly. I think we're got an offsides penalty against GCU here. He's playing advantage. You see the arm out. He's playing advantage to GCU right now. And they've got some numbers on the outside here. Good defense by GCU covering. We're going to come all the way back for the penalty now.
Okay.
So that was a fairly long advantage. So for those of you new to rugby, he called the penalty way back here, but he wanted to see if any advantage went for UCLA, so he let it ride out. And ultimately, they got tackled in the far side of the field, and no real advantage, so he called the penalty here. So you'll see one of two things, I think. You'll either see a kick to touch with a line out, or you'll see a kick for post here. Got another replacement coming on for UCLA. Maybe a replacement coming on for UCLA? Yeah, we did. I couldn't see who it was, but they just swapped out a player. Let's see who came off here. Drinking. Yeah, we can't quite see yet, but definitely had a swap out. It didn't look like an injury.
It looks like 20.
Looks like 22. Yeah, 22.
So that is
maybe
Sasha Martini.
Well, now he's back on the field, so I'm not quite sure. Came off. Maybe he's just getting a drink. Don't see that very often.
Martini from Arlon, Belgium.
Yeah, UCLA is quite a cadre of international players. You see that a little bit in rugby, college rugby. And the penalty kick did not make it to touch, and neither did Ethan Van Tonder's reply. So we're back to the midfield, just open field play here. We got a penalty in favor of GCU for It's like coming over the top there on the tackle. So, yeah, definitely. That's what he's calling here. So, well, maybe not. Unfortunately, we've got the dreaded pole right in our way here. You know, we've talked a few times about chopping down this pole for GCU rugby here, so we could make the appropriate call. But we're here at the GCU, the old soccer field, they call it. Used a lot for rugby, although rugby also plays in the stadium, which is a great venue, maybe one of the nicest rugby venues in the country.
Wow, and this facility itself is very
beautiful,
functional. Yeah,
beautiful
nice,
field.
It's a good looking field.
Yeah.
Being down there, especially in pre-match.
Back in my days, we would have dreamed to play on this field. We were playing kind of on a dirt parking lot almost.
Okay.
Yeah. You lost a lot of skin in those days.
Yeah. All right.
So we got to put in for GCU on the scrum.
Okay.
Tucker Trickey will be rolling us in here. Let's see. What they've done mostly is they've attacked with an 8-man pickup here. We'll see if we get it again. 8-man pickup and then just a little flip to Trickey running to the right off the scrum. Let's see if we see it again here. Nope. Trickey takes it out himself, and we get a nice little punch forward. Oh, that is a beautiful. I mean, that is the perfect kick for that situation.
Van Tonder, really found a spot to lay it into.
He laid it right behind the wing, in between the wing and the fullback, and just a very low trajectory kick that I was talking about earlier, and it just rolled right into touch, all the way down, maybe 10 meters from the try line. Of course, it'll be UCLA's throw-in, but boy, that's quite a bit of rugby territory to pick up right there.
All right, and on the inbound here.
So 12-0 still the score, if you're just joining us. 12-0, GCU leading. Looks like, GCU did secure possession of that on the line out, but not sure what the referee's calling here. I thought he might call right at that. It looked like the GCU player the UCLA player pulled the GCU player before he came down, which maybe should have been a penalty, but we get a scrum to UCLA.
Ryan, what I would like to do is real quickly run through the starting lineup so we can put them on the screen, since we didn't have a chance to do that earlier. Numbers 1 through 15 here, starting with Jesse Emerson, Brad Kissinger, Isaac Browning, Caleb Price, Dane Needham, Kenny Passion, Jared Tavares, Lachlan Jackson, Tucker Trickey, Ethan Van Tonder, Usala Pulu, Jackson Gray, Lotu Pulu, Nick Siegel, and Luke Neely for the Lopes. Okay, and on the scrum.
Once again, a really, really messy scrum by UCLA. It's just all day long been disrupted by GCU, which is great. I mean, that's good work by the GCU big men.
Coming in, there was a lot of hype, obviously, around this UCLA program, and I know being essentially the first ever meeting between the two, would you feel that maybe that Coach O'Leary's pleasantly surprised as to how his team is playing and holding a 12-0 lead here in the first half? Yeah,
they've definitely been the more creative, the more physical. I think the score reflects it, but they have got to be pleased with what they've seen so far here. UCLA was a playoff team last year and played Cal very tough last year.
Coming out of the scrum,
and
the kick just brought down, and the turnover in the hands of GCU.
GCU on the attack again, once again, only about 15 meters out.
That was Kissinger. And it looks like they'll turn it back over to UCLA.
Usala Pulu has really been a force out there in the wing. He's got some really fast feet, and he's really tough to tackle just straight on, and been a handful for UCLA. And that one finds touch, so UCLA escapes once again, barely. Well, you'd really like to see GCU pick up one more try before halftime here, for how much they've dominated field position here. It's great to be up 12, but it would certainly be great to pick up some, maybe
a little bit of insurance.
Yeah, just a little bit of insurance here since they missed that one conversion and only up by 12. Not a clean line out. Yeah, not a clean line out by UCLA, and GCU smothers it immediately. It's like a little pickup by UCLA, so they retained possession.
Lateral back into the hands of Cox.
Yeah, and that's Pulu in the centers once again, very physical, you can see. And we get a penalty in favor of GCU, so they will get another chance to attack here. Let's see, they'll probably kick for touch here. Let's see what we can do. I mean, if we can dump it down there around the 5, they could really get a nice attack here. Only got a minute 49 left in the half. 12-0, GCU leading, minute 49 left in the half. Not sure what the call was there. GCU might have called for a scrum. Just seems kind of strange. It looked like he called the penalty, but he might have called the scrum in favor of GCU. It was kind of hard to see. For those of you who know rugby, when the referee puts the arm out, sometimes it's hard to see whether he means scrum or penalty. I feel like we need a different hand signal in rugby.
And it's the same signal.
It's just whether the arm's straight or up, so it's kind of hard, yeah.
So what we have from the official there is to designate scrum.
Yeah, so he's playing. I'm not sure. Oh, he called forward. So yeah, so the ball was still in the scrum, and it looked like it hadn't come out. But I think he tagged the 8-man from GCU, Lackland Jackson. I think he tagged him for just moving a little forward with his hand. So doesn't take much. So we'll have a scrum for UCLA on their own 10-meter line. So we're down under a minute here. Just playing the referee's watch at this point.
And UCLA.
Well, they got numbers out here. Good cover defense by GCU once again. Beautiful tackling. So once again, it looked like maybe he called failure to release by GCU at the tackle, and so we got a penalty. Nice
touch.
kick. So didn't quite get a lot. Didn't get very much. This is the difference when Ethan Van Tonder kicks at UC. He really picks up a lot of field position. You can see UCLA's kicker is just not quite getting it there. They only picked up maybe 5 or 10 meters of field position there on the penalty. But it is a throw-in for UCLA.
Carlson to throw in.
Not straight. That's pretty unfortunate. So you get not straight by the throw-in for UCLA. So GCU picks up the choice of scrum or line out. They take scrum. And so probably be the last attack before the half, I'm guessing here. Hard to know how much time the referee's got on his watch there, but Tucker Trickey kind of talking back to his partner in crime there, Ethan Van Tonder. It's a great 9-10 combination for GCU. Really like to see Jackson Gray run this with some authority in the midfield here. See what happens. Yep, here he comes. They get a few looping plays out there, but looks like Lotu actually with running. Oh, no, I can't tell who that was, but I don't think that was Lotu actually.
No, it was. Well, we'll see if we can get a number here.
It's a nice run. Here's Lotu. Nice pass.
Off to Emerson.
We got a whole line offsides by UCLA there. So, and Tucker Trickey tap. Ooh. Tucker Trickey looked down like, what the heck? He got tackled right when he tapped it through, but he just didn't take it on the mark. So Ethan Van Tonder will come over. So this is interesting. So I saw him, Ethan Van Tonder turned to the referee and asked how much time was left. And this must be the final play of the half. So Ethan Van Tonder is going to take a shot for post here. Ironically, this is virtually the exact same kick he had last year on the last play of the game against the University of Arizona. That game ended in a tie. He just missed the kick. And so it's literally almost an identical place. Let's see if he practiced this in the offseason. So basically, he's just about a meter. He's in GCU territory, so this is a long one.
Interesting angle of the ball as he placed it on the tee.
Very common in rugby now. It's like the
great kick.
Wow. Plenty of distance just off to the left, and that is the last play of the half. So just wide left, just slightly. Nice try.
All right. And it's halftime, folks, with GCU leading UCLA 12-0. So, Ryan, joined by Ryan Kelly and Dom Hernandez. Ryan, your assessment of the first half?
Yeah, it's always tough early in the season, but that's a pretty good half by GCU. I mean, a lot of little ticky-tack mistakes and things like that, but you almost expect that in the first game of the season. I've been impressed because they've actually shown, once again, I think more attack, more creativity than you've seen from UCLA, and I think that's the difference that we've seen in the match so far.
Dom, what are you seeing down from both teams in terms of the action and with UCLA being down? I know this is not familiar territory for them, so what are your thoughts going into the second half?
I think GCU just needs to keep on doing what they're doing. They're playing strong. They're pushing forward. They're making pretty smart plays by getting up the field when they need to. And UCLA just has to stop making the mental mistakes and play their game that they always play and play within themselves so they can keep going forward and keep scoring scoring.
We're going to go down to the sideline with Sabrina, joined by Coach O'Leary. Take it away,
I'm here
Sabrina.
with Coach O'Leary from GCU Rugby. Coach, what are we liking that your guys' team is putting out in the first quarter?
Well, obviously, we're playing tough rugby against a very good side, first of all. That's two good teams, as we say in Ireland, knocking the bejesus out of each other. And I'm loving it. It's a great game. This is far from over. As you can tell, I mean, there's two teams, and it's going to be, it could be mistake or fatigue or depth. And so it'll be a depth of each of our squads, or it'll be whoever gets tired first, or it'll just be a mistake, and these things happen. So looking forward to the second half, yeah.
Yeah, Coach, so obviously you touched on it. UCLA, really powerful team. You still have another 40 minutes out here. What does your team need to do to continue with the momentum that they have right now?
They just need to keep doing what they're doing. They're playing smart, they're playing hard, and they just need to go and stay at working for 40 minutes, and then we can put a smile on their face.
Coach, thank you so much. Awesome. Guys, back to you.
Can you hear? You want to switch?
Thanks, Sabrina. So we're back up here live from GCU. Ryan Kelly, Vince DeLisio, joined by also Dom Hernandez, the beat writer for GCU Club. Dom, getting back to you and talking about the GCU's play today, this afternoon, and talking about their strategy in the second half. From what you've seen, they're sitting in pretty good position, leading 12-0.
Yeah, they are. They've been playing very smart today. They haven't been making too many mistakes, and they have been making the smart plays and having some great schemes that they have when they come out, getting it outside, running down the field when they need to, and making very strong tackles to prevent UCLA from making any runs toward their own scoring end zone.
Ryan, second half, you're the UCLA coach. What are you talking to your team about right now?
I don't know. It might be trying something a little bit different strategy. The strategy that they've had so far, has really been kind of what we used to call in the old days almost a wide, where you try and do a quick hit in the middle, do a quick ruck, and then have it out again. But GCU is just defending it very well. They're getting players around the ruck to defend on the far side, and there's just not a lot of creativity. I think they could probably run a little bit more around the ruck. So maybe a few pickups by the 9. Because GCU is really filling out wide, and it might not hurt to try a little something underneath that. They're going to have to try something else because GCU obviously is defending fairly well. Back in the old days, when I was coaching here at GCU, I think that's the difference. Is you really see the defensive pickup. GCU has really become a much better defensive team. Back in the old days, we were probably a much better offensive team back then. But, we were seeing scores like 40-30. You just don't see that very often now. So,
okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Halftime. We'll be back in just a moment here live from Grand Canyon University. It's GCU Club Men's Rugby hosting UCLA and leading UCLA 12-0. We'll be back. Okay, welcome back for second half action. GCU club leading UCLA 12-0, and GCU set to kick off. Vince Delicio joined by Ryan Kelly and Dom Hernandez.
And once again, that weird theme that we were just talking about, Ethan Van Tonder with a very low trajectory kick that actually
And it's obviously not intentional. I mean, is he just not placing it correctly on his foot?
No, it's just that's his kicking style. So
Okay.
But the funny thing is that one unfortunately went straight out, which once again not a great thing. So we call these restarts in rugby, the kickoffs, kick receivings, and I think this is one area that we haven't seen it very much of. A lot of work still to do for GCU on the restarts here. So.
Okay, so the restart to scrum.
Yep, so scrum for UCLA because the ball went straight out.
Okay. All right.
There's the put in, and GCU pushing them all over just like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get a penalty in favor of GCU right off the bat. And once again, just because there's no stability, the referee, he's calling them for wheeling the scrum. He's calling them for wheeling the scrum because they just can't hold it. So
wheeling the scrum.
Yeah, so what you do is it's kind of a art is you make it, instead of being pushed back, you let them push one side of the scrum and you kind of wheel it around so it doesn't go back. So.
And that was Joshua Cox. And another penalty called.
No, this one, this is kind of a weird call. On the touch kick, the touch judge called it out, but UCLA didn't think it went out. So they started running with it, but line out.
That's Brad Kissinger.
It's a good push by GCU going here. Let's see what they can do.
Still going, still pushing.
This is the dreaded line-out maul. Sean O'Leary is famous for this, Coach O'Leary. Oh. Looks like the referee, so he had a long, so he called it collapsing. So you had a long maul by GCU off the line out, but just couldn't quite get it out cleanly. As I said, Coach O'Leary, very well known for this. When many years ago when I was coaching GCU, we played against his team he was coaching for, which was Notre Dame, and they ran in like 4 tries on us like that.
Oh.
We could not stop them.
Okay. Well, appears to be a common theme today.
Yeah, so, once again, you get a line out here for, a scrum here for UCLA, and has not gone well for them all day.
And that's Samuel Reed with the put in.
Wow. So what you had here is you had a big mess, but a big push by GCU, and it caused the UCLA 8-man to just pick it up and dot it down in his own try zone. So 5-meter scrum in favor of GCU. These are little nuances of the game you don't see very often.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So GCU now with the put in, they might just try and shove them over here. That's probably my guess is what you'll see Coach O'Leary calling for. He knows they're more physical in the scrum. The UCLA number 9 trying to extol his players to actually hold it tight. Oh, and they do. They held it nicely done. Oh, knock on by GCU.
And the turnover.
Jackson Gray, number 12, the inside center from GCU. Pretty hard, big runner there, but just couldn't quite hold on to it. Of course, this might be GCU's best play. When UCLA gets the scrum, GCU seems to so I'm not sure this is bad.
Capitalize and get it back, yeah.
It's been really tough. It's tough to win rugby games when you can't scrummage. Very tough. You can tell Coach O'Leary's done a little bit of work with the boys on the scrummaging in the off season because they strength-wise look really good.
So what's going on right now in terms of communication? Because there seems to be a little delay in start.
Yeah, just trying to pull it together. You know, everything's got to be right for the scrum to come together. It's 16 people all pushing it against each other. So,
Ball ends up
boy,
coming
really
out.
tough. Really tough for, oh boy.
Ooh.
And as we noted, GCU pushed them. Ball came out uncleanly, and once again, GCU gets a 5-meter scrum. UCLA has no answer for this, it seems. So, well, you can almost see the body language in the UCLA forwards right now. Not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, they're just they appear to be. The wind is out of their sails just a bit.
A little bit, you can tell. And you can almost see the encouragement that the GCU players are giving one another here. So last time we had a pretty good stable scrum, and it looks like it again here. Oh, so
What's the call here, Ryan?
So the referee called the GCU team for collapsing it, and so not holding it up. But tough call. That's a pretty tough call because it was just got messy, and as the scrum wheeled around, it just kind of lost its balance. But it does enable UCLA to clear out almost to the halfway line. Unfortunate for GCU after a long series of attack there. I almost feel like GCU should have pulled that one out of the scrum and actually took a crack in midfield. Feels like both of the centers from GCU have the ability to run through people and potentially could have there. But that's why I am not paid the big bucks.
Carlson on the inbound.
Ball's out, and looks like UCLA.
Cox with the kick.
Yeah, and Ethan Van Tonder back. So long kick by UCLA, and it looked like Ethan was going to try and clear it, but chose to take an attack instead, and unfortunately just the ball squibbed out of bounds there. So throw in for UCLA. Be interesting to see what happens here. We haven't seen any significant replacements for either team except for the one injury for UCLA. So we'll start to see what the bench looks like here shortly, my guess. Another not straight by UCLA. Really tough. No,
Which
not
results in a turnover.
Actually, he didn't call not straight. It looked like maybe he called coming around, like somebody left the line out early. And he called a free kick. UCLA tried to clear it on that, and once again was unable to find. Wow.
We have another penalty called.
Okay, so that was a really long advantage. Really long advantage, and he comes all the way back to the original infraction, which apparently was offsides on the original kick by Ethan. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to guess he's finally going to kick it into touch here.
Okay.
And he does. So we're right back to almost where we started after a long attacking sequence. Yeah. And fortunately for GCU, I mean, they're just staying on the attack here, but they've got to turn this into some points.
And resulting in GCU with the throw in here.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice, very nice throw in. Yeah, all offsides once again. So, I mean, UCLA is just in a tough sequence right now for UCLA. It's one penalty after another, and I don't know. Ethan's looking like he might take a shot for post here. Might not hurt to go up by more than 2 tries. So, you know, I mean, 15 is a big difference because you got to score 3 times. So, but they don't. So let's see if that is a good decision. As a coach, sometimes I'm like, kick it, and then they run it and score. I'm like, good call.
Yeah.
So it's one of the unique things about one of the unique things about rugby is it's a player's game. You know, the coach can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's players making decisions on the field.
Okay, so set up the scrum here, Ryan, and what's going on.
Yeah, so, just the prep here, and then you get the crouch bind set, call from the referee. I'm not. Okay.
Out to Van Tonder.
And here's that kind of attack that we were talking about with Jackson Gray in the middle. If they could go again, maybe should have gone the other way with that. Offsides now. Okay, so GCU, just a little confusion there. One player ran behind his own player. You can't do that. That's an offside, so penalty. It almost looked like GCU should have kind of gone wide on that. They had numbers out on the other side, but they came back towards, wow. And there's a long, long, long kick back down to the other end.
Pins GCU back. However,
a lot of UCLA players coming forward there, but it looks like GCU may have secured the possession. Not 10. So the long sequence there of some messiness once again, and you can almost see, this is what I was talking about all the way back down here, where maybe we should have taken the points from a GCU perspective to go up by 3 scores, because now we're playing down in the UCLA half. And so maybe a little bit aggressive there on trying to make too many things happen early season. But I think this is going to result in a penalty for UCLA, and I'll be interested to see. They might take some points here. Oh boy. Even worse for GCU now. So we got a yellow card against Polu. Against Lotu Pulu. Lotu is, kind of the enforcer there in the centers.
Yeah.
So he's going to come off for a little vacation here, for a little rest period. Unfortunately for GCU, they'll play a man short, which is very, very tough in rugby. So now we got 14 on 15. And this is the first time we've really seen GCU under duress the whole match. The referee called another penalty there for sacking, dragging down the catcher in the line out. And once they go, UCLA goes straight back to the line out. So end up back where we were. I guess on the upside for GCU, this is killing some of the penalty time as.
Well, yeah, it's definitely, and it's eating up the clock here and still maintaining a lead.
Yeah, so low 2 in the sin bin, as we call it in rugby, and hockey, the penalty box. But UCLA corrals the line out and got it out, but good defense by GCU.
And how long are they usually in the sin bin for when they get a yellow card?
Yeah, so he'll be in there for 10 minutes, and so that's
it's quite a chunk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the scrum.
So this is UCLA's chance to get some points on the board.
Yeah, this is really their probably their best chance that they've had, and once again, GCU clears it. Although it's not a great clearing kick, it's still kind of in that 10 meter from the try line there. So,
well, you're one man down. You would think that that UCLA would be able to capitalize on that, but
it's some teams are actually just better at covering the defensive miss, and so they actually just work a little bit harder. A lot depends on and here's some physicalness by UCLA, and that's what I was just about to say, is when you get physical, when you're up a man, that's what happens. Oh, beautiful tackle by one of the GCU players down there, right off the edge of the ruck.
So what are some type of schemes that defending teams would run when they're a man down like this?
It's just a lot of covering. It's just extra work on everybody else. And here what you see is UCLA running a whole bunch of what a lot of teams call tanks. It's pick and goes, and they're just running one pick and go after another and trying just to push it across.
Yeah.
do we get across?
He might have gotten across, but he didn't
Can't
touch
tell.
it down. Yeah, so this happens quite often in rugby where you get it across the goal line, but you just can't touch it to the ground. And let's see, what did he call? Did he give it to him? It looks like maybe he gave them the try. Let's see. Yeah, he did. Maybe? No. So we have we got a dropout, goal line dropout, one of the newer rules in rugby, and he kicked it straight out. Can't say I've seen this before. I'm not sure the ref knows what to do now. You rarely see the goal line dropout,
Yeah.
and I don't think I've ever seen the goal line dropout go straight out in the last few years. So this is stymieing my rugby knowledge at this point. Maybe a scrum 5 meters out.
Okay.
I guess I need to brush up on those rules, those newer rules.
You're not alone on that.
That's we didn't have that rule when I played, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So it's a UCLA on the 5 meter scrum, which once again has not proven friendly for them. So I'm not sure that's a good thing. Okay, GCU a man short though. Let's remember that. So not quite sure where they're playing a man short. It might actually be in the scrum. Yeah, it looks like that's wow. Another penalty for UCLA. Only about 5 meters off the line.
Is he? Nope, not quite across.
Just a big mess down there. And they go right back to the pick and go. GCU defends it pretty well. Another pick and go. And they finally decide to go out wide into the backs. Oh. And they got one extra man, but he can't quite turn the corner, and it's a line out for GCU.
Wow.
He was only about 3 meters out of the line, but that's one of those ones where maybe you go airborne, you know.
Yeah, defended well
Yeah.
by Grand Canyon.
You see sometimes in the international rugby, right about that place, they just launch themselves. Of course, you're putting your body at significant risk too, but.
So what does UCLA have to do to take advantage of this penalty time that is kind of winding down even more?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. The pick and goes is not the best strategy when you're up a man because it just allows them to defend in close, and so they've killed quite a bit of time here on those pick and goes. Interesting line out play by GCU there. They throw very deep, and Jackson Gray comes running up to catch, which is a really nice play.
Martini on the reception.
GCU with the turnover. Throw back in. He couldn't see who the wing from GCU. Unfortunately, just got caught where he couldn't quite put it back into play. Nick Siegel. He got a pretty good offload there, but he just couldn't quite stay in bounds, and they pushed him out. So line out for UCLA here. First replacement player coming in for GCU.
It'll be number 18, Charlie Marshall. Marshall out of Spring Valley, California. Reed on the lateral.
GCU defending very well on the man down here. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to call this. One of the GCU players, I couldn't quite see who it was, took out the number 10 as he initiated the attack, maybe a little bit late, and the referee picked up on it, and so they come all the way back to that spot.
And Cox now with a kick to touch.
He pushes it down inside the 22-meter line there, so pretty good kick. Line out to UCLA. Their line out has been a little bit friendlier for them than their scrum here today, so probably a good thing.
Carlson to inbound.
Looks like they're going full line out here. Yeah, they're going to try and initiate a little bit of a push here. Try and get this going here. And they do get a little bit of a push. And you got offsides here. All the GCU players came running up, and they thought the ball was out, but it wasn't quite out yet, and the referee picked up on it right away. And once again, just a punch out, and we're down to the 5-meter line here again for UCLA. So despite a long, GCU probably having 90% of the match played in their half prior to the penalty that with the yellow card, we've pretty much seen everything inside their own 22 since they're playing a man short. Oh, yes, and that's a try for UCLA.
Finally here with 19:06 remaining in the second half.
Finally took advantage of the man short, the yellow card. Boy, it's so tough to get yellow cards in rugby. It puts so much pressure on your team. So, and it looks like Lotu's coming back in at this point. So that was at the very end of the 10-minute sequence, which is really unfortunate for GCU.
And the conversion by Joshua Cox, the attempt.
Well, I thought Lotu was coming back in. It looked like he was walking back on. Here comes the conversion, and that is perfectly slotted. So,
looked like a difficult angle.
Despite this whole match being in favor of GCU now, UCLA is just one score away here. See what GCU's got up their sleeve here. Looks like maybe they've got a replacement coming on.
So I think we're going to go down to the sideline here with Sabrina and Coach O'Leary. Sabrina, take it away.
It's chilly up here.
Coach, thank you so much. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Sabrina and Coach. And UCLA starting to creep back into this match.
Sure are. That was a big swing in momentum there, but Lotu is back on, so that's good. So we're back to even numbers here. We'll see what GCU can do.
Cox with the kick to touch.
Boy, sure would like to get at least a three-pointer here for GCU to put on, just put a little bit of insurance in there. So we'll see if they don't get a different tactic if they get a penalty down here again. They passed on about 20 penalties previously. So we had one player swapped out here. The wing for GCU, Nick Siegel, came off, and it looks like maybe Ty Miller, I couldn't see his number here, came on at wing. So GCU seems to be back on the attack now that they're up to full speed again. Woo, good interior really defense by UCLA there.
Really strong tackle.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a turnover for UCLA. Players are playing down here, and the referee blew the whistle about a minute ago. But so we'll come all the way back up for a scrum for UCLA. He called forward on one of the passes there. He called forward, unfortunately, for GCU. But so we'll get a scrum for UCLA ultimately put in here. Great defense in the centers by UCLA on several of those runs. You see Jackson Gray making some hard runs, and Lotu making some hard runs in the centers, and defended very well by UCLA. Looks like the big number 4 from UCLA has got some kind of took a shot to the nose there, or the number 4, but he's playing 8-man.
That's freshman Jack Pargetter.
He's a big boy. Once again, GCU pushing that back. Yeah, penalty for GCU. So, boy, GCU dominating these scrums.
It's been a common theme today.
Yeah.
Now the action resulting from the penalty, what is this?
So he'll get a kick here.
Okay.
And probably put it into touch, which he does. That was actually a very nice kick. So that picked up about 25 meters of field space there. So they've only got maybe about 8 meters out here. 8 to 10 meters out for a line out for GCU. And you'll hear this theme again, but I'm really hoping if they get a penalty down here, they take a 3-pointer. But let's see what happens. Maybe we just punch 5 across and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So line out to GCU, about 8 meters out. Disrupted by UCLA nicely. Yeah, we're right back to where we started. So.
Okay. Common theme.
Picked up a little bit of field position there, so not too bad. Can't be disappointed with that if you're UCLA. About 13 minutes left, 12-7 GCU. And a match that was all GCU up to this point, except for the 10 minutes that Lotupulu was in the sin bin for GCU, and in that 10 minutes, UCLA punched one across.
It's definitely gotten much tighter in these last few minutes.
GCU secured that one off the front of the line out, so it just went to the first man. Don't see that quite as often. There's Jackson Gray once again with a nice hard run through the centers.
Breaks through.
Created a little bit of space there. Nice. Oh. Got a turnover. Okay, so we got a penalty here. Let's see what happens. We have also got number 3, the tight head prop. Oh, that's a try for.
Is he in?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
So they went with a quick tap, and it looks like maybe, I can't see who that is, maybe Jackson Gray? Let's see. But that was what I just talked about. He launched his body about 3 meters out and was able to land in the try zone. Number 3 for UCLA, Keelan O'Riordan. So O'Riordan's down. Looks like got some type of injury. Maybe in that scrum that they had. Couldn't quite see because it was a little bit of a hog molly there. It's a very technical term, a hog molly. It looks like it may be an ankle. So, but he's coming off or staying on. Let's see here.
Nice. Looks like he's getting his mobility back, so
yeah, maybe.
Could have just needed a rest.
They might have already put somebody on for him. Did you see anybody come on? I must have missed that. But they, so we got number 3 coming off, or Reardon coming off for UCLA. That's not going to help matters because theoretically you're bringing on somebody who's probably not quite as good at scrummaging, and they've already had trouble in that today. He's a front rower for UCLA. Being in the front row, that scrum is really tough. And Ethan slots that kick also. That's a really tough kicking angle. So some great kicking by both teams.
So they got their insurance that you were talking about getting.
Yeah, so they're 19-7 here. So up by 12, 2 tries. We got 11 minutes left. Still a lot of time.
Now, Ryan, the likelihood that we could be looking at some overtime at the end of the game. Is that likely going to happen based on the events that we've experienced today?
In this setting in college rugby, you wouldn't get overtime, so they would just end in a tie, which nobody really likes.
Or
so.
I guess the extra time at the end of the
some
match.
Extra time, yeah.
Extra time. Sorry.
Well, we haven't really seen very much stoppage time, which is really what they're looking for. So I don't think we'd see much. Maybe a couple minutes at the end of the game. So nice sequence there for GCU. Ethan Van Tonder with 2 kicks in a row now. One to the center of the field here. Now we just have a long, long run coming on. Oh, that's a knock on.
Oh, and recovered by GCU.
Yeah, you had a knock on back here by UCLA. He was playing a little bit of an advantage to try and see if there was any advantage to GCU, but they couldn't quite secure it. And so we'll just go straight to scrum. A few more substitutions by both teams. Get late in the match here, you get some cramping and things like that.
Nine and a half minutes remaining.
Looks like GCU swapping out its number 6 here.
Another injury down on the field.
Kenny Payson.
Caleb Price comes off. May have just been some cramping up on the field out there.
And even though it's not hot, that cramping can affect you at any time. It's kind of a strange thing. Also, it wasn't number 6 that came off. It was number 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah, Caleb Price.
Yeah. Now, Ryan, the result, with the injury down on the field, the official, that's still within play in terms of where he is situated on the field. They're not going to resume play until they get him off, right?
Typically, if it's a stoppage in play, they'll wait till the player's off.
Okay.
Yeah. But they won't stop the play typically unless there's some type of, very bad injury or, it's interfering with play. A little bit unstable, and I think this reflects what we saw. You're getting new front row players coming in, and so that 1, 2, and 3 on both teams, they're bearing most of the weight of this scrum. And if you get newer players in there or players that haven't, they're not warmed up, that's when it gets a little, can be a little bit crazy, and that's what you're seeing right there. Just unable to hold it up. They'll come right back to it though. So the put in here is for GCU. That one looks a little bit better. So let's see what happens here. Good stability by both teams for the first time today. Ethan Van Tonner punches one through. And this will probably be a 5-meter scrum here. Looks like that was taken.
So, Ryan, go through that sequence there. And now the fact that it on that kick ended up
And this is kind of a strange sequence here. He called the 22-meter dropout.
Yeah.
GCU kicked it into the end zone, but it almost looked like the UCLA player took it out the back. But I think he called that he got tackled out the back, and so he gave him a 22-meter scrum. And GCU right back on attack. Ooh, that's maybe a penalty there on the slap down on the ball, but GCU with a nice ruck. Ethan Van Tonder with a great clearance kick there. Yeah, all the UCL players were up across the line of gain already by the time he got it, and so he just punched it wide and picked up about maybe 15 meters of field position. Very nicely done.
Van Tonder's been very effective today in putting that ball exactly where it's given them the best advantage. So
that is their game, and that's why he's been playing, at the national level since he was in high school. He is very good at kind of controlling the game with that kicking. It's amazing what a difference a good number 10 can make. Good line out by UCLA. UCLA,
picked off. And the touch.
No, we got a penalty back here.
Oh, they called
offsides,
it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
He called the offsides on it.
And that was number 18, Charlie Marshall.
He was standing in what we call the cherry-picking zone.
I'll say.
And he picked it off, but unfortunately he was called, I think he was actually called offside on it. So He's going over to have a discussion with the referee there. He's probably trying to ask him
for a favor?
a little clarification on whether
Okay.
it was offside. Either that, or as we like to say, he was asking for a Krispy Kreme donut because that's the sponsor for GCU Rugby. So
Okay.
we try and work that into everything.
Yeah, there you go.
A little bit of a mess there. UCLA hasn't been able to get much attack going. It's just been really good defense by GCU straight across the board. It's like maybe a little offside here by GCU. Let's see what he called. Yeah, offsides by GCU. The whole line was up past the last foot there, and so he called them offsides. They quickly retreat 10 though. Boy, that try would have been kind of the final nail in the coffin there, but
that would have been it.
yeah. But we play on. So UCLA attacking here. They're inside the 22. This is the first time they've been back down there since we went back to full strength for both teams. So they'll play a line out, maybe about 20 meters out. Nice line out by UCLA. And it looks like we may be playing advantage here too. I thought I saw him with the arm up, but good attack by UCLA. Made up the gain line here and a little bit of pick and go. We're just not making a lot of progress on the pick and goes though. GCU pretty tight defending down there. They did score on one of them though, so about 5 meters out here. And they finally decide to go wide. Good tackle by GCU. Oh.
On the pileup, a little
Looks like
disagreement on the side and some.
It looks like we might get a yellow card again here too.
I would think in the least because it looked like
don't know.
there was some swinging going on as well.
I think he called it on the tackle, which that didn't look like it was a dangerous tackle. It looked like a good hard tackle. So that GCU will play. There's 2:20 or 2:30 shown on the clock. 2 minutes 30 seconds. So not very much time left, but they're going the rest of the way for sure. A man down. So. Boy, UCLA is right on the line right there. Got to believe this is going to result in a try here. Yeah, it does.
They got it.
So you get a really quick kick, my guess here, because you only got less than 2 minutes on the clock. So.
Well, and I would seem to believe that the strategy for Coach O'Leary and the Lopes in the final 2 minutes of the game is one of defense and in just making sure that to keep UCLA out of the try.
You would think here that they might go to a little bit more of a possession game where you might see some of their own pick and goes and just try and kill as much clock if they get the ball back. No. Oh,
you get it?
Boy, that was right.
Wow.
That was as close as you get. It looked like it went right over the left upright, but he gets the call. So once again, GCU only up by 5 here, really tight.
Final minute.
So on the game clock, we're down to right about a minute, and the GCU game clock typically, once again, is not the running clock of the referee. So we know we're close, but at this point, we're just playing the referees. Looks like maybe Ethan just asked him what kind of time we had left.
Okay. We'll see if we can get that. Looks like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, I think he just showed.
Yeah. All right. So in that 2 minute time, we'll also have a GCU player of the game that we hope to interview post-match with Sabrina.
Oh, very unfortunate for UCLA right there. So the UCLA player receiving the kick just didn't receive it cleanly, and so you get a scrum for GCU, and they're probably going to stand around for 30 seconds here trying to kill some clock, which is exactly what they should do. So this is where I was saying GCU might just go to a possession game right here. You might see an 8-man pickup and just simply try and get some successive rucks, some successive pick and goes to kill out the clock here. But if you're going to do that, you have to stay pretty tighty because you don't want any turnovers.
So what would UCLA be looking for to break through and get a try?
They've
right
got to
here?
get a turnover. I mean, that's, it all starts with that. But no.
So do you think they'd be pressing up more now than before because they're going to try? They want to try to score.
Probably not. I think just got to get your hands on the ball here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
And Marshall.
Don't go out of bounds. See, that's not smart by the
Terry.
GCU. Not smart. But we get a high tackle, literally, that pulls them out here.
Final minute.
Looks like they're asking the referee how much time here. Yeah, so I think they asked the referee if they kicked a touch, if that would be the end of the match, and I think he said no. So they decided to take scrum instead. So
Should continue to kill the clock.
Yep. I saw Ethan turn around and ask him that question, and so looks like they'll just try and kill a little bit more clock here. You just hope that they can keep it in hand. Here's where you don't really want the long passes. You want the short passes to avoid any kind of knock-on. That's a nice play. And they're right by the goal line here.
He appears to be in.
Yep.
Yep.
Scored.
That should be it, hopefully, here.
Yeah.
It's a nice pick and go right at the back there by Tavares, I think.
You are correct, Jared Tavares with the try.
Very nicely done. This should be the end here on the conversion. It's a nice short-handed try by GCU. Very nice. Pretty good guts there as they show the medal. Conversion by Ethan Van Tonder coming right here. His easiest of the day.
Van Tonder.
Oh, did not get that one.
Oh, good.
Looked like it came through, but final score 24-14, GCU over UCLA.
Amazing. Great match. We'll see if we can send it down to Sabrina here, who should be with Coach O'Leary. Get some post-match thoughts along with a player of the match.
Be interesting to see who that might be.
Ryan, in summary, thank you so much for jumping in, for covering today, and I've learned a lot.
Yeah, it's always a new experience, and GCU has to be very happy with that win. That's a really, really important win for the program because, like I said, it probably is between these two teams for one of those playoff spots. So, important win for GCU.
All right. Well, as we await, Dom, any last thoughts on your first rugby match?
It was a lot of fun to see how intricate the schemes are for running rugby and how crazy it can get at times with how much the scrummage line can go.
We're going to take it down to Sabrina, who's visiting with Coach O'Leary down on the sideline. Sabrina, take it away.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm here with Coach O'Leary. Coach, obviously in the beginning we talked about your guys' first matchup with UCLA. How are you feeling after this big win for GCU?
Well, I'm afraid to tell my wife what my heart rate is right now. I told you all this would be close game. It went down to the wire. I mean, that's just what happens in these tough games. But man, I remember talking to Vince this morning, and I said, if anyone comes out to this game or anyone sees this streamed live, this is college rugby in the United States, and it is fabulous. And there's a disruptor in town, and now everyone knows who GCU is. So thanks so much for coming out, and appreciate everything you've done.
Yeah, real quick, Coach, obviously next game versus Cal Berkeley. What are you going to take away from this game, this big win, and apply it to that next game to hopefully come out and let people know who GCU is?
Well, that's a different level now. So I'm going to let the boys enjoy it tonight. We'll start on video tomorrow, recovery, and we have 2 weeks to get ready for Cal. That's a different level, and we have to match at least their physicality and their passion and their structure. And if we come out of that healthy, I'll be very pleased and proud of my boys.
Coach O'Leary, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sabrina. That was great. You know, nice job. Coach O'Leary looked pleased, obviously. His team comes away with the win. Joined here live with Dom Hernandez, the GCU club beat writer, working with the Varsity Sports Show, and Coach Ryan Kelly. Coach Kelly, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon, and we hope to have you joining us for more.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
It was a lot of fun. On behalf of our crew, led by Technical Director Dylan Dendecker, my name is Vince Delicio, and thanks so much for joining us this afternoon live from Grand Canyon University. We'll see you next time.